Concept exploration. Concept exploration. In many places, people are struck and devastated by various natural disasters, locally, nationally, and globally. Those disaster preparedness and risk management have been the targets of the government and educational institution through various plans and programs. In this case, environmental awareness has to be reiterated and strengthened in schools and integrated in the curriculum, while everyone has to be oriented on taking care of and sustaining the environment. Sustainable development. Ecoliteracy considers ecological systems and awareness of how society operates within natural aspects as an educational imperative. The basic principles of ecoliteracy are good starting points to explore fundamental lessons that can be learned from nature for the reform of society. David Orr, 1992, to cite that by failing to include ecological perspective in education, students are taught that ecology is unimportant. Orr and Capra, 1990, coined the idea of ecological literacy as creating a new emphasis on the need for education to integrate understanding of the interdependence between natural processes and human ways of life. Therefore, ecoliteracy is the ability to understand the organization of natural systems, that the process that maintain the healthy functioning of living system and sustain life on Earth. In another perspective, ecological literacy is an understanding of the principles of organizations that ecosystems have evolved to sustain the wave of life, which is the first step on the road to sustainability. The second step is the move towards eco-design, of which there is a need to apply the ecological knowledge to the fundamental design of technology and social institutions to bridge the current gap between human design and the ecological sustainable system of nature. Sustainability is a qualitative and quantitative condition that demonstrates the human capacity to survive over time. It is qualitative in a way that we want well-being, although it is difficult to measure. But it is also quantitative in that natural capital and ecological carrying capacity can be measured with footprinting tools. Ecological literacy, therefore, provides the basis for integrate thinking about sustainability. It supports the frame of mind, ethics, and the type of practice that will support the kind of thinking that prioritize ecological imperatives. To achieve sustainability, we must trace the roots of our cultural assumption that work on ecological illiteracy. Ecological literacy aims to replace fragmented thinking with new cognitive and social capacities necessary for the design of sustainable ways of living. Ecologically literate person and society. For 2017, an ecologically literate person can apply such understanding to the design and organization of communities and the creation of regenerative culture. To be ecoliterate means to understand the principles of organization of ecological communities and to use those principles for creating sustainable human communities. An ecologically literate person understands the essence of independence and interconnectedness and that we are all part of living system. An ecologically literate person translates this understanding into action that demonstrate conscious efforts to minimize negative impacts on our life-sustaining systems and maximize value contribution to our collective well-being now and for future generation. On the other hand, an ecologically literate society would be a sustainable society which does not destroy the natural environment on which they depend. Thus, ecological literacy is a powerful concept as it creates a foundation for an integrated approach to environmental problems. While 2017 claimed that nurturing ecological literacy in students of a wide range of ages has become the goal of sustainability. Ways to develop ecoliteracy in schools. The goal is to raise students with an important perspective called socially and emotionally engaged ecoliteracy, which is a process that offers an antidote for fear, anger, and hopelessness, which result from inaction. Hence, the act of engaging in ecological challenges on whatever scale is possible or appropriate. It develops strength, hope, resiliency among young people. Ecoliteracy is founded on a new integration of emotional, social, and ecological forms of intelligence. While social and emotional intelligence extend students' abilities to see from another's perspective, empathize, and show concern, ecological intelligence applies these capacities to understanding of natural systems and cognitive skills with empathy for all of life. By weaving these forms of intelligence together, ecoliteracy builds on a success from reduced behavioral problems to increase academic achievement to foster social and emotional learning. The following are identified practices in age-appropriate ways for students, ranging from pre-kindergarten through adulthood, and help promote the cognitive and affective, the abilities with the integration of emotional, social, and ecological intelligences. First, develop empathy for all forms of life. By recognizing the common needs we share with all organisms, we can extend our empathy to consider the quality of life of other life forms, feel genuine concern about their well-being, and act on that concern. Second, embrace sustainability as a community practice. By learning the wondrous ways that plants, animals, and other living things are independent, students are inspired to consider the role of interconnectedness within their communities and see the value in strengthening those relationships by thinking and acting cooperatively. Third, make the invisible visible. If we strive to develop ways of living that are more life-affirming, we must find ways to make visible the things that seem invisible by using web-based tools such as Google Earth, Good Guide, and Educate apps. Fourth, anticipate unintended consequences. Teachers can teach students strategies for anticipating unintended consequences. These include precautionary principles that when an activity threatens to have a damaging impact on the environment of human health, precautionary action should be taken. Fifth, understand how nature sustains life. Ecoliterate people recognize that nature has sustained life for long, that result to turning to nature when their teachers imbibe three crucial tenets to ecoliterate living. First, ecoliterate people learn from nature that all living organisms are complex and interconnected, that inhabit a particular place for survival. Second, ecoliterate people tend to be more aware that systems exist on a various levels of skill. Third, ecoliterate people collectively practice a way of life that fulfills the needs of the present generation while simultaneously supporting nature's inherent ability to sustain life in the future. Seven environmental principles of nature. Ecology can be best appreciated in schools through a more practical and more relatable perspectives and manner of orientation and realizations. The following are the basic environmental principles of ecosystem. First, nature knows best. People need to understand nature and have to abide by the rules it imposes. In essence, one must not go against natural processes if he or she would like to ensure a continuous and steady supply of resources. Second, all forms of life are important. Each organism plays a fundamental role in nature. Therefore, all living things must be considered as invaluable instruments in maintaining balance in the ecosystem. Third, everything is connected to everything else. In an ecosystem, all its components interact with each other to ensure that the system is sustainable, of which any outside interference may result in an imbalance and deteriorations of the system. Fourth, everything changes. People must rethink their relationship with the environment through relevant technologies for positive changes. Fifth, everything must go somewhere. Since waste may go back to one's own backyard in some other forms, it is important to become aware of the different types of waste, classify and segregate those that are toxic and potentially hazardous. 6. Ours is a finite Earth. Awareness of Earth's limited resources leads to a conscious effort to change one's attitude and initiative to recycle them. And lastly, nature is beautiful and we are stewards of God's creation. Being the most intelligent and being gifted with reason, humans are capable of controlling and taking care of the creation to their own advantage.